lesson in life has to be taught. It doesn't matter what it is. If she's never had anyone to teach her that respect, well, maybe you're the man who's going to make her respect. You're going to make her appreciate masculinity. I'll tell you something now, man. The girls who were the biggest red flags and the girls who looked like the most problems, after I dick them once and ignore them, and they've never been ignored before in their life, they're the ones who crumble hardest. They're the ones who completely lose their shit because it's never happened to them. So if I do meet a girl and I see a bunch of red flags and she has all these male friends and she's always out partying, whatever, and I sleep with her once and I never text her again, they're the ones who break down in their heads faster than the good girls because they're so used to having their own way. I'll teach you to respect masculinity one way or another. Don't worry. If you don't respect masculinity, it's fine. Well, if you're unfixable, we'll sleep together once and I'll never talk to you again. Cool. Mm-hmm. One time is enough for me. I remember. I'm smart. Bye.
All right. Now that we watched this clip where Andrew Tate is trying to say that he's going to teach people or women how to respect masculinity, and if he can't, he's just going to say goodbye. How valuable is this advice for men who want to be in a relationship with a woman?
Well, I think, I understand that this person, Andrew, really wants to be in a relationship with a woman. And I applaud him for that because that will help him to have a more fulfilling life than to live it alone. But I think the thing that has to really be calculated, especially when a person is looking for a partner to share a life with, that it's a voluntary institution. And nobody can force somebody into a relationship. And like they say, you can attract more flies with honey than vinegar. I don't understand how, following the advice you're asking, if this is what I think about this advice, I can't imagine any healthy woman wanting to have a relationship with somebody who's following the advice of Andrew. Initially there may be some attraction. That's the infatuation stage. By nature, infatuation is blind. Love is blind. That's what it means. But eventually the new shine wears off, and any healthy woman will start realizing that he's not being respectful to her. He's trying to manipulate her, and he's trying to force her into an unnatural and unpleasant role within the relationship, and any healthy woman would bolt, would leave him. So it's very sad for Andrew, even though he desperately wants to be in a relationship. Unfortunately, he's using the wrong tools.
When he and others are talking about respecting masculinity, and they have their own idea of it, what actually is the masculinity a woman is looking for in a man for a long-term relationship? And also, more importantly, what should a man be thinking about when it comes to being actually a masculine figure, as he's trying to talk about?
Great question. In that part, he's right. Women are actually attracted to masculinity. You notice the word I use is attracted to masculinity. Also, if you review the clip by Andrew, he said, make a woman respect masculinity. There's no attracted to. When you force somebody, you impose on somebody, you're ignoring their feelings. And that's why a healthy woman wouldn't want to be with somebody like that. He has no respect for how she feels. He's trying to impose on her. But it's natural for a woman to be attracted to a strong man. That he's got 100% right. He has his finger on the pulse there. Masculinity is a very positive, and I would even go so far as to say an essential part of a healthy relationship. Because a woman wants to be cared for. Whether that's politically correct or not is irrelevant. As it says in the Jewish Bible, the Torah, which is the blueprint of the world, and I'm not going to go into too many details about that. But a woman looks for a strong man to create security in her life. But it has to be on her side an attraction, because only voluntarily will she stay and behave as a female, a proper woman within a relationship. Unfortunately, this is the saddest part of many marriages. People get married and the man behaves like a brute, which is basically what I understand Andrew advising men to do. The woman turns off emotionally completely. She shuts down, essentially. She's in a marriage. She may have children. for whatever the reasons are, she can't see actually leaving him, or she's optimistic and hopes that somehow he'll change. She hopes against hope, and unlikely it will, but she ends up being stuck in it all, but she turns off. Now the lovemaking drops, the lovemaking stops, there's no attraction, either of them. They're both frustrated with each other. So even though they're living together, essentially it's an emotional divorce. So the attraction to maleness, that's my point, has to be maintained throughout the marriage. And you can't do that with a club, like a Nathaniel man going after a woman, grabbing her hair, pulling her into the cave and raping her. In this society, that is not going to work, not only for legal reasons, but for emotional reasons. This is not what women want, and healthy women will not put up with it. But they may stay in the relationship technically, but shut down or pull away to the point where the man is basically on his own, even though he may be sleeping in the same bed that she is.
And when it comes to this idea of masculinity, hearing you, one thing that comes to mind is that long term, that aspect that attracted her, as women are attracted to, as you said, masculinity. How does the masculinity evolve over time to keep your wife attracted to you?
Because it's strength. What is masculinity? It's strength, but it's how you use your strength. It's like a knife. We all know, probably all of us have in our homes a sharp knife, but it's how you use it. Do you use it to butter your bread or to cut your finger? If he uses his strength to take care of her, to protect her, allow her to feel secure, and I don't mean, fighting with bears that are climbing through the window. But I mean, protect her even from herself. Sometimes she's confused, and he has a compassionate heart, and he listens to her, and he helps her come to some sort of better understanding of whatever the situation that is upsetting to her. That is strength. Or she says to him, I don't feel you're giving me enough attention, and he doesn't crumble and erupt into a litany of excuses and counterattacks, but he listens and tries to understand and tell me more. What makes you feel that way? Yeah, I think maybe that's something we can consider. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. That is strength, and you would be surprised how few men, I don't care how big their biceps are, how few men could actually listen to their wife say to them, I don't think we spend enough time together, and not get into that defensive mode. But for the man who can, and I don't care, he may be 5 feet and skinny like a toothpick. For the man who can, that's strength, and that's attraction to a woman. Because she knows he's taking care of her. She knows he's putting her before himself. That's called strength. That's masculine strength, not bullying her with a verbal bat, as Andrew is proposing.
You've been in this line of work for decades, and now YouTube's available, and this is, I'm showing you somebody you never heard of, and you're disgusted in a lot of ways, possibly in all ways. Now, the question is, though, how did we get here, where someone like this has infiltrated young people's minds?
Well, very easy, because the correct information is inaccessible.
Basically, one idea I have there is that the essential life skills aren't taught growing up.
That's it. Even the therapists don't know what I'm talking about. Partially they don't know, and partially because it is, in quotes, politically incorrect, they wouldn't verbalize.
What's politically incorrect about it, though? Why is it
to say a man should take care of a woman? You know how I hold my breath every time I tell a woman that? And we're talking about professional women or doctors and lawyers, and I tell them, I understand what's missing in your relationship. You don't feel your man is taking care of you. And I'll say to the husband, you have to be strong. She needs to feel you're taking care of her. Then I hold my breath and wait for this counterattack. Her saying, what do you mean? I don't need anyone to take care of me. A woman is as strong as a man. I don't want him to take care of me, blah, blah. And every woman, I don't care if she's a criminal lawyer that litigates in and day every single day in court, or she's a doctor who has a crew of nurses and assistants helping her in her work, or she's in in a police officer. Every woman I have ever encountered, and I'm telling you honestly, in 30 plus years, I have never got pushback from a woman. I don't care how powerful or privileged she is. When she goes into a marriage, it becomes an emotional relationship. It's not the professional relationship where she may be the CEO of a company. But when she goes into an emotional, romantic relationship, she wants to be taken care of. And I could explain why, but I don't want to take up the time unless you want to go down that road.